Alright guys, second video of today. I tried to make the subtitles up here a little bigger. And I'm reading them while I'm talking just to see how it is. Alright, yeah. Alright, they're good. Alright, so a lot of you know how to do this. This is going to be the same as this, what we just did. The only difference is the first step, we need to distribute the 8s to everything in the parentheses. Remember distribution, the distributive property, whatever outside the parentheses, we can distribute inside. So for this problem over here, the first thing I'm going to do is take this 8 and multiply it inside the parentheses. So 8 times 10 is 80, and 8 times k is 8k. And then I just bring down the negative 48. After we do that distribution, we're going to do the same thing. We move the number and then we divide, right? We move the number that doesn't have the variable and then we divide by the number in front of the variable. It's the same thing. So hopefully if you've made it this far, it's because you did a good job on the worksheet and you know how to do the rest. For this problem here, we would subtract 80 from both sides because that's the number without a variable. And again, that's a positive 80 in the problem, right? This 80 does not have a sign in front, so that means it's positive. So we have to subtract it. That gives us 8k equals negative 128. Because negative 48 minus 80 is negative 128. And then we're going to divide by 8. Divide by the number in front of the variable. In this case, it's 8. So that's going to be k equals negative 16. So again, the only difference is we're going to take this number on the outside of the parentheses and multiply it to everything on the inside of the parentheses. So in this case, the number is a negative 4. So we're going to do negative 4 times x, which is negative 4x, and negative 4 times positive 6, which is negative 24. And that's going to equal negative 104. So again, think back on the last worksheet. The number with not a variable, the number without a variable, you're going to move first. So our negative 4x, right, that has an x. So we have to move the minus 24. And the opposite of minus is plus. The opposite of subtraction is addition. So that's going to give us negative 4x equals 80. Negative 80. Because negative 104 plus 24 is negative 80. And then just like before, we divide by negative 4, the number in front of the variable. Again, hopefully you made it this far, so this isn't that hard. I know some of you already knew it before today's class even started. This is going to be positive 20 because a negative divided by a negative is positive. All right, so now we're going to do something new, something you haven't seen yet. It's this one. So instead of having a variable and a number over here, which means multiplication, we have this fraction, which means division. But the first step is the same. The first step is still to add or subtract. So in this problem, we have this variable here and minus 1. So we take our term without a variable. In this case, it's negative 1 minus 1, subtract 1, and we do the opposite, which is going to be plus 1 from both sides. That's going to give us n over 10 equals negative 2. can't write a fraction on this program here. So, but n over 10 is the same thing as this fraction, right? N's on the top and 10's on the bottom. So after we move the number, we just have this fraction equals -2, and we know that fraction means division. So the opposite of division is multiplication. So we're going to multiply by whatever the bottom number is in this division, which is 10. So we're going to multiply both sides by 10, and that's going to give us x equals -20. X equals -20. So the first step is the same. You are going to add or subtract the number without a variable. And the second step for this type of problem, instead of dividing, it's going to be multiplying. So add or subtract and then multiply. So here, if you look at it, you can see that the number with a variable is this a over 2, right? This is your a divided by 2. This is our number by itself. So remember, we're going to move this number by itself over here. It's -5. The opposite of negative is positive. So +5. So we're going to +5 from both sides. +5 from both sides. That's going to give us a over 2 equals -4. And again, this is a fraction, so now that we've added, we know we have to multiply by the bottom number, which is 2. So we're going to multiply both sides by 2. And that's going to give us a equals -8. Negative times positive is negative. All right. So here's some problems that I want you to do in your notebook. And when you're finished, call me over. Remember, it's very, very, very similar to the other ones. You're going to move the number without a variable first. Again, I'm going to highlight this first step in yellow. The number, so you're going to move this -2. For this problem, you're going to move this -10. For this problem, you're going to move this +4. And for this problem, you're going to move this +3 because there's no sign in front, right? You're going to do the opposite. So here, you're going to add 2. And here, you're going to add 10. Here, you're going to subtract 4 and subtract 3. After you do that, you're going to do the opposite of the division, which is multiplication. So we had 2 different types of problems today, or in the last 2 classes, right? When it looks like these look, a fraction, in order to move this bottom number, you have to multiply. So add or subtract this number by itself first, and then multiply by the bottom number second. We're still doing 2 steps. All right, do these in your notebook. Call me over. If it looks good, we can move on. Good luck.